Welcome back to the Chicago Boss Screencast. This is episode 3. Now, if you remember from last time, we made a real model file. We made a real controller, and we made a real view file, a real template. We were retrieving and displaying information from a database. Now, of course, we want to do more than just retrieve information. We probably want to put information into a database. So now we're going to talk about how to process forms. Let's get to it. Now, if you recall, we had a database of books. Looked like this. And we want to add a link to that list. We want to make a new form, which will just be for inputting a new book. So we'll create a link to /book/input. We'll say input book info. That'll be the name of the link. And we'll open up a new template. View book input.html. And we could just make all the HTML all over again, the HTML tag, the head tag, the body tag, and all that crap that we made before. But we're going to take advantage of a feature of Django called blocks. So I'm going to split my window here and make a block for all the important stuff. So I'm going to make a title block and block. This is called template inheritance, and it's not essential for the task that we're doing, but it's so useful that might as well get started. I use it all the time. You can just make a block for everything that you might want to replace in another template. So in this case, if we define blocks like that, and then we say that /book/input extends book/list.html, then it'll take that template as its base and then replace any blocks that we define here with the ones that we define. So if we say there's a block title, we can change the title from my books to input a book. Alright, and block. We can make another content block now too. So block content. And this will just have our form, which we can go ahead and make. So we want this to be a form. Method equals post. You know what? I think we're done with list.html, so I'm just going to close it out. And this form for inputting new books is it's going to have an author, so we want to label our form elements. You know, I should be using the HTML label element, whatever. Sorry, I ain't got time to bleed. Input name equals author. BR. We want our form to have a. I want to input a title probably. Input name equals title. I don't know why I'm making all these XHTML. That's so 2001. Author title, well, we have year. That's the other thing in our book database. So input name equals year. This is just a standard HTML form. Nothing fancy about it. And we just want a submit button. Type equals submit. Make sure we did everything correctly. So we save this book/input template. Then we go to /book/input. And there it is. There's a little form. And actually, we got the link to it on this page. Yeah, input book info. Okay, so we have a form. Everybody's done that. Now we actually want to process stuff that's submitted from the form. Now you notice that we didn't actually have to define any controller code for the template. And if no controller function is defined, then it just renders the template as is without passing in any variables. But if we want to add some code, we just open up our book controller. Last time we defined a function for list. Now we're going to find a function for input. Erlang uses pattern matching when executing its functions. So we want to make one clause that responds to get and another clause that responds to post. And this is a very convenient language feature for dealing with multiple HTTP methods. What do we do when we get a post request? Well, we want to pull out all the data that we can. So we want to look at the author, which is just going to be a post parameter. So you might recall the controller is a parameterized module with rec as the parameter. And this gives us access to the form data. So all we need to do to get the author field is say rec :post param author. And similarly for title and year. So this gives us all the variables that we need. Bam. Pulled them right out. Year. Okay, now what do we do with these three pieces of data? We want to create a new book. So we say, book equals book new. Now you might remember the parameter list that we had for book. If we don't remember the order, we can always go back to /doc/book and say, oh, goes ID, author, title, year. So when we say new book, we say ID. So the database will actually be generating an ID for us. So we just pass in an atom called ID to start out with. Next we want the author, so we say author, and then we want the title, and then we want the year. And then we want to save that book. To start out, we're just going to assume that the save is successful, and this is the API. So we say OK saved book equals book : save. Now the saved book is exactly the same as the book that we passed in, except instead of this ID atom, it will have a generated ID. So the ID might be book-2 or book-10 or whatever. And then we can use that if we wanted to, do a redirect based on the saved book. In this case, I'm just going to redirect back to the book list. So redirect book/book/list. And that'll get us there. So I save the controller, and I can try it out. So I close this down, go back to my browser, go back to my book list, click input book info. What book do I want? I don't know, maybe I want something by Herman Melville. Say Moby Dick. I don't need to make that all caps. Year, I really don't have any clue. Let's say the 1850s sometime. I don't know. Submit. Oh, redirect. There it is. We just input that into the database, and now it's showing up. Isn't that amazing? I know you're completely flabbergasted and floored by the amazingness of this. Yeah, I'm pretty excited too. Okay, so let's just throw in a couple more books, just for kicks. Do I even know the names of other books? Let's put in some Dickens. Charles Dickens. I don't know. Great Expectations. Try to show my ignorance. Let's just say 1880 maybe. Submit. Redirect. Oh, isn't that fun? Charles Dickens is right there where we expect him. Now I promised at the end of the last episode I'd show you some database tricks, and I've got about 1 minute left, so I'll try to do that. Now, you might remember the second argument to the bossdb find function is a list of search parameters or search conditions. And it's empty, so it just returns all of the books for now. If we want, we can do stuff like specifying that the year needs to be greater than 1900. And I'm making 1900 a string here just because we haven't done anything special to make these integers. So it's being stored as a string in the database, and this is actually a string comparison it'll do. But if we do that and we save the year and refresh, then hopefully, yeah, we just see the book published after 1900. In this case, The Shining. And we'll get to more tricks in the next episode. Thanks for watching.